The first thing any guest in your home sees is your entryway area. Ideally, when you design this space, you try to incorporate the style that's found throughout the rest of your home to make it all look and feel more cohesive. If your entryway is struggling to hit that mark and needs some updating, it can be a simple fix. In this video, let me show you how to transform your entryway into a welcoming and stylish space that sets the perfect tone for your home. And you know me, I'm always going to show you how to do it on a budget, so let's go.
For today's video, I picked up this entryway table that I found at the thrift store. Thrift stores have tons of entryway tables, so I'm always on the lookout for them when I go in. They're really good sellers for me. The funny thing about this one, it looks like somebody did about half the job painting it and then figured it was good enough. I managed to pick this one up for the bargain price of $10.
This entryway table has been previously painted, as you could tell, so we're going to go ahead and get this thing really good and clean so I can start seeing if there's any damage on this piece and what I'm going to have to do to deal with this previous paint job. So I'll start by using some simple green and clean everything off with some warm water and start assessing what's going on here. So this entryway piece, it has some sort of rounded edges on it that make it look just a little bit dated. I don't really like those. I'm going for more of the sleek lines on this one. So I'm going to flip this over and see if I can get some of those dated details off of here.
When I inspected this piece, it was easy to see that these rounded curves were just screwed into the bottom. So I took my screwdriver and a mallet to remove them and update this piece. I like to find my inspiration for my pieces by Googling whatever type of furniture I'm flipping for the week. For instance, I put an entryway table and clicked on images, and this is what came up. You can see what's trending, what's in style, and how much everything costs from these links. And a lot of the items I was drawn to are listed from anywhere between $400 to $600. And I know that we can design something for a whole lot less than that. With the curves removed, I got out my Surf Prep sander to give everything a good scuff sand and also try to level out some of this paint and brush marks that were left behind. I have a 120 grit sanding pad on my sander. Luckily for me, this paint is coming off really easily, so much so that I thought about taking this down to raw wood. It's definitely a possibility with this project, but it's not quite the look that I'm going for today, so I'll just make sure that all this paint is sanded down smooth to the touch. This table is solid wood, and I want to make the most of that on this top. Here in Texas, pieces that have a bit more of a rustic vibe sell really well for me, so I'm going to bring out as much of the raw wood on the top that I can get to, and I hope that nothing underneath this paint is damaged or stained beyond repair. After I got the top sanded down with an 80 grit, I switched over to 120 grit to have a smoother surface to work with. I won't go up any higher than this because I do plan on doing something with this top and I want good saturation of that product. So I don't want to take it up any higher than 120 grit until I'm completely finished. I'm using a damp cloth to wipe back all of my sanding dust before I can move on to my next step. After further inspection, the top had a deep scratch in it, so I got out my iron and put on the steam setting. This helps to puff up the wood fibers and help bring that scratch to the surface. You want to lay down a damp towel so that the iron has something to make a little bit more steam out of, and then you don't have to worry about burning the surface. And you keep applying the steam until you feel the scratch rise to the top, and then you can just simply sand it out. Guys, I am so proud to say that today's video is sponsored by Surfshark. And Surfshark is a VPN, which stands for Virtual Private Network. And why is that important? Well, it's important because in today's digital world, staying safe online is more important than ever. Whether you're browsing social media or promoting your business, or simply connecting with friends, protecting your privacy online should really be a top priority these days. These days, between the kids' busy schedules with pickup and drop off, I can spend a lot of time working outside of my house. With Surfshark VPN, my internet connection is encrypted and it ensures that my personal information is going to remain private and protected from hackers and advertisers and other prying eyes that are out there. So whether I'm chatting with clients or checking my business bank accounts or posting updates about my latest projects, Surfshark really gives me the peace of mind to focus on what matters most, and that is keeping my personal identity online safe from prying eyes. You can scan the QR code that I've got on the screen and listed in my link below. So be sure to enter the code LEMONSLEMONADE when you check out, and that's gonna secure an extra 3 months free with Surfshark for you.
So if you are like me and rely on social media to do just about everything these days, do yourself a favor and get Surfshark today. Stay safe and secure while you're surfing online. For today's project, I'll be using the Real Milk Paint in the color Black Iron. This is going to give this project a really nice matte finish and look exactly like that picture that I'm trying to duplicate.
The Real Milk Paint products can be found on Amazon, and as always, you can find everything that I'm using on these projects linked in the description below. I'll be using their Black Iron milk paint as well as their bonding agent to make sure that the milk paint doesn't get that chippy effect that it's known for. For milk paint, you want to mix equal parts milk paint to equal water to activate this, and then make sure you give it a really good shake. I chose milk paint for this project because it always leaves behind this beautiful matte finish and the colors are deep and vibrant. I'll use my zebra angled brush to lay down a good base coat.
I let that first coat dry overnight, and now I'm ready to do my second coat. I still have probably half a cup left in here, so I would say it's going to take me a full cup of the milk paint to do this project. I've got plenty of that powder left over, so I'm going to get quite a few projects out of just this one can of milk paint. So I put it in the refrigerator overnight. That's how you stop the milk proteins from breaking down faster. You can store it in your fridge for up to a month, I think the website says. So you can keep it once you mix it. You don't have to throw it away that night, which is really nice. And the pigments stay really nice and bold. So I'm just using a little mixer just to make sure I get anything off of the bottom of this can mixed up really good. And then I'll follow up with my second coat. I'm going to show you a close-up at what it looks like right now with just that first coat on it with milk paint. You can see if I was going for that chippy effect, how cool this would look. I'm not going to go that route today, but it just sort of gives you an idea of if you wanted the milk paint to chip, what it would ultimately look like. And you're left with like this really beautiful coal matte black finish, which I just love about milk paint, and it's so easy to use. So if you are a beginner, I highly recommend this. I use it a lot. I think you'll like it too.
Second coat goes on much quicker, and 2 coats is all I needed for full coverage. Now let's start working on that top. I've chosen a Minwax water-based stain in the color Birch Bark. The stain's very similar to doing a paint wash, except that I find it allows a lot more of that wood grain to show through, which is exactly what I want to go for, given that I'm going for a rustic look with this one. I'll apply a liberal amount of the stain with a stain sponge and let it soak in for about 60 seconds before I wipe it off. I'll let the stain soak in for about 60 seconds before I wipe it off with a cloth. The drawers on this project were probably the hardest part. There was some velvet lining that had been glued down with the hardest glue that I have ever encountered in my entire life. I took the heat gun and my scraper to it and I still had a heck of a time getting it off. I decided to add a nice little touch in the drawers with some peel and stick wallpaper with a beautiful floral pattern. I'm sealing this project in the Real Milk Paints Furniture Wax. This is applied with a wax brush and then you can wipe off any residual with a lint-free rag. This wax leaves behind a rich luster and a protective coat to wood and painted surfaces, so I'll use this all over my project. I want to preserve as much of the matte finish as possible. Since this is an entryway table, I'm not too worried about watermarks and heavy use, so this finishing wax is a great option. I headed into Hobby Lobby to find some spring stems to stage this project with, and this project was also missing the knobs, so I grabbed 3 that I thought would look great on this piece. Now that my knobs are on, I'll get this staged and ready to sell on Facebook Marketplace. Leave me a comment below with what you think I should list this for. Here's a quick reminder of what we started with. My $10 thrift store find turned into a beautiful rustic farmhouse entryway piece. This could really be a one-day project for somebody, so be sure to search these out next time you're in your local thrift stores. A beautiful designed entryway really can help set the tone at your front door.
Thanks so much for tuning in today, guys. Next week's project is already rolling in, so be sure to join me then. You don't want to miss it. And a big thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already so you never miss a flip, and I'll see you next time at Lemons to Lemonade Furniture.